Hi there, and welcome back to Paws and Pawsitivity. I'm Jamie Watkinson-Harvey, your certified dog trainer, behaviourist, and host of this podcast. Whether you're relaxing at home or out for a walk with your pup, I'm so glad that you're here. Today, we're chatting about something that most dog owners have dealt with at some point. Dogs eating things they shouldn't, whether it's on walks or right at home. I know this all too well for my own pups. Penny, for instance, is a big fan of munching on any greenery she finds, which means keeping an eye on her is a full-time job. And then there's Onyx, who is a master at hoovering up anything that falls in the kitchen, usually while hiding in some corner, waiting for his moment. If this sounds like your life too, don't worry, you're not alone. We'll look at why dogs do this, how to manage it safely, and why muzzles can be a fantastic tool for all dog guardians, not just those with so-called dangerous dogs. And hey, if you enjoy this episode, don't forget to give it a share or subscribe to the podcast. Every little bit of support helps us reach more dog lovers and spread the message of positive, force-free training. So let's start with why dogs have this habit in the first place. For some, it's just curiosity, exploring the world through their mouths. For others, it's about satisfying a natural urge to chew or a bit of scavenger instinct. And then there are the pups who seem to think that anything remotely edible is fair game. Sometimes it can even be down to boredom or anxiety. Dogs who aren't getting enough mental stimulation might resort to eating things they shouldn't, just to pass the time. In other cases, there could be an underlying health issue, especially if they're eating non-food items, a condition known as pica. So if it's a constant problem, it might be worth checking in with your vet. If you've got a dog like Penny, who sees every bit of greenery as a snack, it's all about management and redirection. One of the most useful tools here is teaching a strong leave it cue. This isn't about scolding them, but about making sure that they know that leaving things alone gets them something even better, a tasty treat or a bit of praise from you. It's also handy to keep your dog's attention on you during walks. Treat pouches can be a lifesaver for this. Reward your dog for checking in with you and walking nicely so they're less interested in foraging. And if you see something ahead that might tempt them, a quick redirect with a happy voice or a treat can help them to stay on track. Then there's the home front, like Onyx's habit of playing sous chef in the kitchen. For those moments, management is key. You might try creating a cozy spot away from the action with a stuffed Kong or a favourite chew to keep them busy. If they're determined to hang out in the kitchen, teaching a go-to-mat cue can help. It's a bit like giving them a VIP seat, close enough to see what's happening, but far enough to avoid any accidents with dropped food. Make it rewarding by popping a few treats on the mat when they settle down, so they see it as a good deal. Now, let's talk about muzzles. There is a lot of misunderstanding around them. But here's the thing. Muzzles aren't just for so-called dangerous dogs. They're a brilliant tool for any dog guardian, especially if you've got a pup who's a bit too fond of snacking on questionable things during a walk. A well-fitted muzzle can prevent your dog from eating dangerous things and items like rubbish, dead wildlife, or toxic plants. It's about keeping them safe, not labeling them as bad. If you've ever had to pull something from your dog's mouth mid-walk, you'll know how stressful that can be for the both of you. A muzzle takes that worry away. The key is to introduce the muzzle gradually and positively. Lots of treats, lots of praise, and making sure your dog sees it just as another part of their gear, like a harness or a lead. With time, many dogs get so used to it, they don't even bat an eye. Of course, whether you're using a muzzle, teaching cues, or managing situations at home, safety is the main goal. Try to keep things that tempt your dog out of reach, whether that's the kitchen bin or a patch of mushrooms in your local park. And if your dog does manage to eat something they shouldn't, it is always best to give your vet a call for advice, just to be safe. So there we have it. Some tips to manage those moments when your dog's stomach seems to have a mind of its own. Remember, it's all about keeping things positive, setting them up for success, and making sure they stay safe. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Paws and Pawsitivity. If you found these tips helpful, please consider sharing this episode with a friend or subscribing so you don't miss out on future episodes. You can also support the podcast by visiting www.pta.dog and visiting the podcast page where you can make a donation. Your kindness keeps us going, and it truly means the world to me. Until next time, take care and give your pup a big hug from me. Woofity woof!